Updates from the war in Ukraine. Ukraine claims to have successfully taken down a Russian spy plane and an airborne command post. Meanwhile, Kyiv states that it requires China's involvement for any potential peace process. On Monday, Ukraine declared a significant achievement, claiming the destruction of a Russian Berev F-50 spy plane and an Ilyushin Il-22 airborne command post in the Sea of Azov region. This marks a substantial blow to Russian military operations in the occupied southern territories of Ukraine. Ukraine's Air Force achieved a major victory by successfully targeting and destroying an A-50 long-range radar detection aircraft and an Il-22 air control center, according to an announcement by Army Chief Valery Zaluzhnyi made through the Telegram messaging app. Valery Zaluzhnyi conveyed his appreciation to the Air Force, expressing gratitude for the execution of a meticulously planned operation in the Azov Sea region. Reuters could not independently verify the statement. The Russian Defense Ministry did not respond immediately to a written request for comment. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry estimated the value of the A-50 aircraft at $330 million. Kyiv's statements did not provide details on how the planes were destroyed. The A-50, a significant airborne early warning and control aircraft introduced into service near the end of the Soviet era, possesses the capability to scan an expansive area, reaching several hundred kilometers across, to detect enemy aircraft, ships, and missiles. The reported downing of this aircraft, as indicated by insights from some Russian military bloggers, has the potential to pose a substantial setback for Russia's Air Force. This is particularly noteworthy considering the limited number of A-50 planes currently in service. The ramifications of this development add a layer of complexity to the ongoing dynamics of the conflict, with implications for the broader regional scenario. Anticipate another ominous day for the Russian aerospace forces and air defense, remarked Rybar, a prominent blogger boasting nearly 1.2 million subscribers, dedicated to supporting and delivering continuous commentary on Russia's engagement in Ukraine. Emphasizing the rarity of A-50s and the scarcity of specialists managing them, he underscored the near impossibility of the crew's escape if such an aircraft is hit. The precise count of A-50s in Russia's service continues to elude clarity, adding an element of uncertainty to the unfolding narrative of the conflict. Dmitry Peskov, the press secretary for the Kremlin, declared his lack of information regarding the reported incident. In response to inquiries about the alleged strikes, Peskov stated, "No, there is no information," as conveyed by the news agency TASS. He further elaborated, "Then, after all, this is a topic that concerns the progress of a special military operation." As of now, Russia's Ministry of Defense has refrained from issuing any comments on Ukraine's assertions. Numerous Russian military bloggers have conveyed that the potential downing of the aircraft would be a substantial setback for Russia's Air Force, considering the restricted number of these planes currently in active service. During the weekend, Ukraine unveiled its peace plan in Switzerland on the eve of the World Economic Forum. However, with Russia notably absent from the event, there was minimal concrete progress toward achieving peace. Unveiling Ukraine's 10-point peace formula at Davos before delegates from 83 countries, Ukraine's presidential chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, emphasized on Sunday that future talks to end the war with Russia should involve China. Despite being seen as key influencers on Moscow, both Russia and its ally China chose not to partake in the event jointly hosted by Switzerland and Ukraine. Russia had already rebuffed Ukraine's peace initiative, insisting on the complete withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukrainian soil. Moscow had previously labeled peace talks, where it was excluded, as absurd. On Monday, the Kremlin sought to diminish the importance of the recent discussions, emphasizing that any peace proposals lack substance without Moscow's active involvement. Russian and Iranian foreign affairs and defense ministers recently engaged in productive telephone discussions, laying the groundwork for a substantial agreement. The Russian state news agency RIA reported that Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu led discussions with their Iranian counterparts. Subsequently, the Defense Ministry disclosed Moscow and Tehran's shared intention to formalize a major interstate agreement, signifying a noteworthy development in their diplomatic relations. The term terrorist organization typically refers to groups involved in acts of terrorism, which is the systematic use of violence to create fear and intimidate societies. Designations of specific organizations as terrorist may vary among countries, and there are international differences in classifications. For instance, some countries designate groups like ISIS or Al-Qaeda as terrorist organizations, while others may have different lists. It's essential to refer to specific government sources or international bodies for accurate and up-to-date information on designated terrorist organizations. Sergei Shoigu emphasized that Moscow and Tehran are strengthening their collaborative efforts with the goal of creating an equal multipolar world, as reported by the RIA news agency. The discussions covered a wide spectrum, including areas such as military and military technical cooperation. Additionally, both nations engaged in exchanges of perspectives concerning regional security matters. This signifies a deepening partnership between Russia and Iran, as they work together on various fronts to shape global dynamics in a way that reflects a multipolar balance of power. The Kremlin dismissed Ukraine's efforts to garner support for its peace proposals at the World Economic Forum, asserting that without Russia's involvement, nothing substantial could be achieved. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, in response to discussions surrounding Ukraine at Davos, expressed a dismissive stance by stating, "This is merely a dialogue without substance." The proceedings lack the potential for tangible outcomes due to the evident absence of our participation. Without our involvement, any deliberations are rendered futile in terms of yielding meaningful results. Ukrainian officials took center stage on Sunday as they presented Kyiv's comprehensive 10-point peace formula during an event co-hosted with Switzerland. Despite the prominence of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine at this year's World Economic Forum, WEF, Russia and its ally China chose not to participate in the Conference of National Security Advisors. The intricacies of the conflict have become a focal point, with Ukraine adamantly declaring any negotiations with Russia as illegitimate. In response, Russia dismisses this standpoint as absurd and expresses its willingness to engage in dialogue with Ukraine. However, Ukraine maintains its resolute position, emphasizing that discussions with Moscow are off the table until Russian troops withdraw from Ukrainian territory. This steadfast stance sets the stage for a complex geopolitical dynamic at the WEF, where the absence of key players adds layers of uncertainty to the pursuit of peace.